Hey everyone! Welcome back to Promise Love Stories, where every story is a journey through love, heartbreak, and second chances. Before we dive into today's emotional and romantic story, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss our newest love stories that touch your heart. And tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? I love seeing our beautiful Promise Love Stories family from all around the world. Now, sit back, relax, and get ready for a story that'll stay with you long after it ends. The water was always her home. For Lena Carter, every stroke, every breath, every ripple meant purpose. The pool wasn't just a place of training. It was the only place she ever felt free. Outside of it, the world was loud, chaotic, and full of expectations she couldn't meet. But inside, under that blue light, she belonged. Ryan Blake knew that feeling too, except for him. The pool was a battlefield, a place to conquer, not to escape. Once an Olympic contender turned coach, Ryan carried his past like a shadow, trailing behind every swimmer he trained. When Lena walked into his program, shy, quiet, eyes like soft tides, he didn't know he was about to meet the one person who could challenge the armor around his heart. It started like every ordinary day. The sound of splashes, the whistle echoing through tiled walls, the tension of competition. But something about Lena's form that morning caught Ryan's attention. Her timing was off, her rhythm broken. Like something inside her had cracked overnight. He called for another lap. Another! Another! His voice echoed louder, sharper, until exhaustion trembled through her arms and tears mixed with chlorine. The team pretended not to see. To Ryan, it was just discipline. To Lena, it was pain she didn't understand. But that pain, in its strange way, began to bind them. A war of emotions neither could name. And when practice ended, Ryan saw her sit alone, her face in her hands. And for the first time, guilt crept into the heart that once believed emotions were weakness. Lena's life outside the pool was quieter, darker. Her mother worked 2 jobs to keep them afloat. Her father, a ghost of someone who once cared, had left long ago. The swimming scholarship was her only chance, her fragile lifeline towards something better. Ryan saw her drive and mistook it for perfection. But perfection comes at a cost. And Lena was paying it with sleepless nights, trembling hands, and a heart that never learned how to rest. Ryan himself wasn't immune. Behind his stern eyes lived a man haunted by a single failure. The Olympic race he never finished. That one mistake had drowned his career, his confidence, and eventually his ability to love. Now he only knew how to push others where he once fell short. But Lena reminded him of what he used to be, raw, passionate, and unbroken by fear. One evening, practice stretched past sunset. The rest of the team had gone home. Lena stayed behind, swimming in silence, stroke after stroke, until the water blurred her tears. Ryan watched from the stands, unseen, as her body fought exhaustion. Then suddenly, she stopped moving. Panic flashed through him. In seconds, he was in the water, pulling her up. She gasped for air, trembling, her eyes wide with fear and fatigue. For a moment, the world stood still, her heartbeat against his chest, her breath uneven, his hand brushing the wet strands of hair from her face. In that instant, something shifted. It wasn't coach and student anymore. It was 2 souls who recognized each other's pain. And though they didn't speak, both knew. This moment would haunt them forever. Rumors spread fast. The other swimmers whispered. The administration questioned. Ryan's position was at risk, and Lena's reputation even more fragile. But what no one saw was the truth. Their connection wasn't scandal, it was salvation. Ryan tried to distance himself, burying his feelings beneath professionalism. But love doesn't listen to reason. Each practice became heavier, each glance between them filled with things they could never say. Then came the day Lena walked out, without a word, without goodbye. She left the team, the pool, and him, vanishing into the world beyond water. And for Ryan, that absence felt like drowning all over again. 2 years passed. Lena found herself far from home, training alone, working part-time at a rehabilitation center. But every time she saw a pool, she felt the same ache, the ache of a story unfinished. Ryan, too, was changed. No longer a coach, he worked as a consultant, his heart still chained to what he'd lost. He never stopped thinking about her, wondering if she found her peace or if she still carried his shadow in her heart. Fate, though, loves its surprises, and sometimes the universe conspires to heal what it once broke. The national championships, a place Ryan swore he'd never return to. Yet that year, he found himself in the stands again, watching the next generation take their marks. And there, in lane 6, was a familiar face. Lena Carter, stronger, sharper, but her eyes still the same. When the gun fired, she dove like she'd been waiting her whole life for this. Every stroke was vengeance against her past, every breath a whisper to the man who once believed in her. She touched the wall first. Gold. The crowd roared, and in that noise, she turned, finding him in the stands, tears in his eyes. No words, just recognition and forgiveness. After the ceremony, Lena found him waiting by the exit. Older now, softer somehow. The world faded, the reporters, the noise, the flash of cameras. For a moment, it was just them again. The silence that used to hurt now felt like home. Ryan apologized without words. Lena forgave without hesitation. And when their hands finally met, it felt like the world exhaled with them. Love, real love, had waited beneath the surface all along. As they stood by the pool one last time, the lights reflecting off the water, Lena smiled through tears and whispered, not in words, but in the way she looked at him, that some loves don't need to be spoken to be real. And when they kissed, the reflection of that moment rippled across the water, forever marking the place where pain ended and love began again. Some stories are born in chaos, some in silence. Theirs began in water, in pain, discipline, and redemption. But it ended in love. Because in the end, the strongest swimmers aren't the ones who never sink. They're the ones who find someone worth resurfacing for. And that was today's story. What did you feel when you watched it? Tell me your thoughts down below. I read every single comment, and I love hearing your emotions, your stories, and your favorite moments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Promise Love Stories for more true love, redemption, and unforgettable romance. Until next time, stay kind, stay hopeful, and keep believing in love.